My name's Adam Short and welcome to UK Coastal Trek. Well, once again it's snowing. I'm just leaving Southend now, heading along the coast. It's quite a treacherous part of the coastline. The rocks really meet the water, but hopefully as long as the tide is out, shouldn't have a problem.
Kintyre, as I was soon to find out, has a coastline that is both fascinating and awe-inspiring. For millions of years, relentless seas have pounded and clawed at its great cliffs, creating dozens of caves waiting to be rediscovered.
Well, it's snowing again. I'm just heading, I think I'm just below a mound or a hill that's been called the Bastard. I'd love to know the story behind that. I'm actually on a tidal race to get around this piece of the coastline before the tide comes in. Thankfully it's still going out, so I should be able to clear the next 2 miles quite safely. Now, what I've discovered are quite a few caves along here, quite large caves as well. There was one about a mile or so ago, and that was quite big, and it went back, and it looked like it opened up into another tunnel, but I didn't have time to kind of check that out. I'm also just past another cave, and now I found this one. So I'm going to head down into the abyss and see what we can find.
Wild animals and birds sheltering from the harsh weather conditions were probably the first occupants. Some still are. Then came man, searching the land for fruit and berries and foraging along the shores for shellfish, taking shelter when they were successful.
That's pretty impressive. Must be a good 20-25 feet high. But unfortunately it doesn't go any further than this.
Many caves contain drawings and paintings of ships and exotic animals. Although I searched carefully, I didn't find any on this occasion.
The timing of the tides when you're trying to get this close to the coastline is all important. If you get it wrong, you'll end up with wet feet.
As I picked my way carefully along the treacherous rocky shore, I saw a large round object that looked out of place. Getting closer, I discovered it was in fact man-made.
Now, I've heard of stones with holes in. You put it on a necklace around your neck. It's quite common, but I've never seen one quite as big as this. To me, it looks possibly like an ancient millstone, which is possible because it's made out of sandstone, and they used to be. It's absolutely enormous, it's round, and the hole is almost dead centre. Either that, or it could possibly be the first ever wheel. Fascinating. Well, I haven't walked that far from where I found the millstone, and I've come across this enormous engine. I can only assume it's from a wreck that's washed up on the shores here. Be interesting to find out a little bit more.
Strong currents and stormy seas have claimed many ships along this coast, evidenced by wreckage I found strewn amongst the rocks, which now provides an ideal habitat for sea life such as urchins, starfish and lobsters. It is said locally that some vessels from the Spanish Armada foundered here, and that the crew took refuge in one of the caves.
Well, today has been another day of adventure and exploration. Just come across this enormous cave. Gotta go and have a look, haven't we, really?
Without knowing it, I had come upon St. Kieran's Cave. I later discovered that St. Kieran, who gave Campbelltown its original Gaelic name, was one of the 12 Apostles of Ireland. An ancient tale tells of the other Irish saints envying him, to such a degree that every one of them, apart from St. Columba, prayed for his early death. The cave itself was an early Christian site, dating to around 6th century, and apparently has a cross-decorated stone slab in it, although I found no sign of this.
But judging by this wall, I would imagine possibly that it was occupied at some time. Quite fancy going and have a look what's back there though. Well, I'm right at the back here. It doesn't actually lead anywhere, but it's absolutely enormous. What a find! Well, literally, I have walked only a few hundred yards and I've found the opening to another cave, and I've spotted one just a little bit further along. I'm going to take you down into this one. A bit of a pungent smell though. Well, it's not as big as the cave I got the echoes just a minute ago. Nonetheless, it's quite cool. Let's go and have a look at the other one, shall we? Well, this one looks very different. There's an entrance both sides and it looks like there's one from the front. Fascinating.
Caves were used for many purposes, as I had found out. Whiskey, I later heard, was frequently made in them too, especially those that have fresh running water, an essential ingredient of illicit distillation. Feuding clansmen also found them a convenient place to store their loot. Others, being so close to the water's edge, were used to make soap from seaweed.
Well, today has been an absolutely fantastic day. There's been so many caves to explore back there. It's just incredible. And tomorrow I'm going to be exploring a very special cave. And it's on that island, just over there.